If you're a heating and air conditioning technician or even a salesperson, what do you need to know about preparing to be fired? Why does it matter? And how does it help you? This is an important question. I'm Sylvan Bell, coming to you live for HVAC technician sales secrets on a perfect day to talk about sales and a perfect day to talk about you. Now, here's the thing. Whether you are a heating and air conditioning technician or a salesperson, or you're in another trade, this list is what I've put together from 30 years of being around business, being in business, of items that'll really help you out. And some of them on this list may not be things that you've considered. I do have to point out, I am not an attorney, a doctor, a therapist, a marriage counselor, or an accountant. So I'm not giving legal advice. So please don't take it that way. Seek out qualified help if you need it. And this video may be a little bit longer than normal because I'm planning on sharing insights that I've learned from along the way. So if you're like, hey, I want the quick and easy, I don't know if I can do that on this video. The first thing I do want to talk to you about, though, is not included in the list of 7, right? I have 7 items, but this isn't included in the list. And there used to be a big stigma about being fired or being let go. And that's not so true as it is, as it was so long ago, where people were like, oh, I got fired and like, I don't want the neighbors to know, whatever, right? We're in a day and age where people leave jobs and move jobs. It's not like it used to be. Like, it used to be a big deal. Like, if you didn't perform and you were fired, oh my goodness, the guilt trips, the issues, the things that you couldn't say, not that big of a deal anymore. You do and you may go through some depression issues because there is a feeling of loss. I put in time, energy, effort, risk, money, reputation. Those are the 6 elements of rejection that really drive you to make some decisions or to have feelings and emotions. And if you have regrets, if you have the feeling of rejection, you have the feeling of depression, it can lead to failure and saying, hey, here's all the things that went wrong. What if you just looked at it like it was a college course or a school course and you just didn't get a good grade, but you got to try again, right? I didn't pass geometry the first time. I got a D-. I'll just try again. So I really want to give you the advice of that try again. Like, I'm just going to go out there and I'm going to do it again, because there are elements of, sometimes you got to look at it like a combination lock. Left, right, left, left, right. Sometimes the people that you work with, they're just not good people. Sometimes the management you work with is just not management, but you do have to own what you did right and what you did wrong. It's really easy to be like, it was that guy, it was that girl. Where's your ownership in it? Like, what changes do you have to make the next go around? What did you learn? Like, every time that I fail at something, I have to go, what did I learn? Even if it's a video that I put out a ton of videos. How come it didn't get views? Was it the thumbnail? Was it with the title? You know, I go into a presentation and I'm talking about doing some sort of consulting. I lose the deal. What did I lose? Why did I lose it? There's the, hey, what could I have done better? And once you figure that out, then move on, right? Getting caught up in the details of like, here's all the things that went wrong. It'll consume you. It's I, Sylvan Bell, have made this mistake, right? I'm not sitting here pointing fingers at you. Everything that's on this list, I've screwed up at. Every single thing on this list, I'm going to tell you I've screwed up with, okay? If it is the people, pinpoint why you didn't get along with them. What was the issue? Were they liars, cheats, and frauds? Okay. Decide not to work with liars, cheats, and frauds. Were they difficult to deal with? Okay. Look at that as like, why did I struggle with that person? Are they too similar to me? Were they overbearing? Were they impossible? And occasionally, did they have it out for me? Go through the list. So let's just say that they were impossible and they had it out for you. Okay. You got to get past it. You got to move through it. Next level, time to move on. Have your grieving period. Like, you could tell yourself, I'm willing to grieve for a week, but no longer than a week. I got to get back in the game. I'm willing to grieve for 72 hours, but I got to get back in the game. I got to make money. I got to get back in. The longer that you sit on the sidelines, the more it hurts. My experience. You may be a little bit different. I'm bearing my soul here for you for a minute for things that I've gone through after, because I have been let go from jobs, right? But sometimes what you need to know is there's personal things that happen in your life. You lose a family member, you lose an animal, you lose a house, you lose a car. Okay, those are all elements that can distract you. You have a kid, you get a pool, you go on vacation, you have a really good couple of months. These are all things that can distract you and lead to some sales sabotage that can cause you to lose deals. And because you lose focus, Every time that I have lost focus, my sales numbers, right? Just being real with you, not a perfect person. I make mistakes. I've learned a lot of this the hard way, trying to give you the playbook so you know what to do. So I'm going to give you seven things from here to prepare in case you get fired. And the first thing on there is you got to keep a good network. You got to have a list of people that you can talk to in your industry, managers, business owners. You know, you're not always looking for a job, but that opportunity may pop up. So, you know, business mixers. And sometimes you may meet somebody at their worst at a business mixer. They're having a bad day. Just sometimes those first impressions count, but sometimes it may take a second impression to confirm the first, right? So keep a good network. You know, I've got a good friend, Mitch Smith. Mitch Smith, literally in a sales meeting that I was in, told the owners, listen, I don't care what you want to do from here because I can have a new job. It's 9 o'clock in the morning. And he looks at his watch. He's like, it's 9 o'clock in the morning. I could be running leads and closing deals at noon somewhere else. Mitch is a different animal. Mitch is a different dude. I love him, right? Like, this isn't anything bad about him, but he's got that mentality of, I'll just go close deals somewhere else. And the dude can, right? He's got the skills, which brings me to point number 2. Keep your stats. Keep your stats, because there's going to be a point where a business owner or a manager tells me, like, how good are you or how good are you not? And if you have your stats and you can, like, hey, look, I had a kid at this point and my stats tanked. I lost my focus, right? I have to own up to that. Or on this month, my dad died. My dad died in May, a couple years back. And, like, emotionally, I tanked. Me and my dad talked every day, right? I had a really good relationship with my father. And I miss him terribly. But my stats tanked when I lost my dad. So, like, keep your stats and be able to pinpoint, like, look, I went on vacation, I lost a girlfriend, lost a key family member, you know, was having marital problems with my wife, was having marital problems with my husband, whatever direction that it goes, right? If you can pinpoint, like, look, I had been consistent, and one of these events triggered it. New manager, new ownership group, company got bought out, manager left, you know, new superstar was brought in and was the guy that was fed the leads. And that does happen, right? There's only so hard that I can work. This was what I was given, and I can show you, like, I've got consistency, tank numbers. There's someone's gonna be like, okay, let's have a conversation about that. Tell me what's going on. What led to that? And realize that you may have to have a real conversation. You may be under a non-disclosure agreement if there's a lawsuit going on. But if it comes to it, and ask your attorney what you can and can't say if you have legal issues, because I'm not an attorney and I'm not giving you legal advice. Number 3, like, keep a dream 10 list of companies you want to work for in your area. What are the 10 companies you want to work for? And I would put on there the list of the 5 companies you want, and be very specific about why you wouldn't want to work with a company. Why would you not want to work with a company, right? Like, in Sacramento, I could tell you there's a few companies out there that, like, if they said, hey, Scott, do you want to work here? I'd be like, no, Scott, no, not. And there's reasons, because 1, they have unethical policies, and 2, they don't install well, and 3, they're just not good people. Am I going to name them? No, because I'm smarter than that, right? 4, reach out, start your process. You know, start going in for job interviews, and realize I had the ability, I don't know, 5-6 years ago, to interview almost 400 people in a year for just various positions inside of an organization. That was part of my role, interview people. And it would be interesting. I would have people show up in shorts and flip-flops and tank tops, all the way to suits. And, you know, it was always interesting. Sometimes the people, like, that's what they had. So I'm not knocking it. Shorts, t-shirt, flip-flops. That's what they had. Okay. But then there was people that you knew that they had the ability to at least wear a pair of slacks and a nice shirt, show up on time. Always bring a pen to an interview. Always bring your resume, right? But start your reach out process. There's plenty of people that I interviewed that they had nothing to write with. They weren't prepared. You know, they didn't have the ability to pull out a calendar. And so, like, for me, if I was going to get interviewed today, I would show up on time. I would show up, you know, slightly dressed better than what I would be expected to wear out in the field. And I would prepare for the conversation. And this is going to border on number five, your criteria, because like if you put me into a job interview today, I'm bringing a note paper, a pen, I'm bringing my questions, my concerns, and it's my interview to work there just as much as it's their interview to say, hey, come work for us. Like this isn't just a one-way street, right? If you've got time out in the field, no, it's not a one-way street. You're not just auditioning, they're auditioning too, but don't be aggressive about it, right? Tell me about your pay. Tell me about times where what metrics I need to hit. Tell me about vacation time. If someone were to fire me today and I'm going to look for a new job, one of the things that I'm going to do is schedule a vacation and have a airplane ticket and show, hey, look, I've got an airplane ticket. I've got a vacation scheduled on this day. Is that going to be a problem for me to be hired here? And most of the time it's not, because you're disclosing it from the very beginning and you're like, hey, I got 2 cruise tickets, right? I've got a vacation date in these days. Is this going to be an issue before I get hired? Right? Here's all the things that I'm planning on doing. Here's where I'm planning on going. So as I'm filming this, it's February. And if you're like, someone's like, hey, Scott, I'm letting you go today. I've already got a ticket for Hawaii in March, right? I've already got a ticket for April to go to an event. I would have that on the books and be willing to disclose. But remember, the company is auditioning you and you're auditioning the company. So you would have your criteria. Ask your questions. Understand your expectations. Do the interview, right? But here's what I would do. Let's say they say, hey, Scott, we're going to get back to you. I'm like, why don't we just do this? Why don't we just put this on the schedule? Show some initiative. Why don't we just put this on the schedule? Or if I don't fit the criteria for the person that you're looking for, could you please tell me why? Right? Don't let me down easy if I'm not the right guy and have me have some hopes and dreams. Tell me why, right? If I'm not a good fit, I'm okay with that. I'll go find somebody who loves me. Someone's going to love you somewhere else, right? Whether it's a relationship or whether it's business, somebody's going to love you somewhere else. And I have no problem asking these questions. Hey, Scott, you want to come in for an interview? Absolutely. We go through the interview. They ask their questions. I ask my questions. Hey, I got a sense like halfway through the interview that you lost interest in me as a candidate. Is that accurate? Right? I'm going to be straight up. Hey, look, I get the feeling that this is what's going on here at this situation. Am I the wrong person for you? Right? Not aggressive, not being a jerk, but I want to know where I stand. Like, this is a sales call. If somebody gives me the objection, I want to think about it. I'm going to go back to my steps of asking questions. Are you happy with the companies? You like the warranties and guarantees? Is it the equipment? Is it me? I'm going to do the same thing in a job interview. I'm going to try to lock that thing down and try to pinpoint what are we waiting for? What you need to know as an employer is I got skills, talents, and capabilities. Someone's going to love me somewhere else. They're going to scoop me up off the market. You're really going to let me step out this door and we're not going to close this deal today, right? If you're testing me, great. Tell me you're testing me. If you're looking for some pushback, know that like I'm willing to give it. You don't know me very well, but here's the thing. Here's what you need to know. If I'm willing to do this in a job interview, I'm willing to do it out in the field. I'm putting everything on the line right here. Just give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Like, we're going to treat this as a sales call. If I'm the wrong candidate, would you let me know? Yeah. Am I? Sometimes you just have to be blunt, and you got to be prepared because they might come back and go, well, we're going to go back in the room and then, we'll give you a call. Right? Great. Well, I'm on my way to another job interview. And if it sounds better, I'm taking that job. Like, you have to do what's right for you. I'm not an attorney. I'm not giving you legal advice, right? Remember that. Okay. Number seven, keep a journal, because there's something cathartic. There's something that's very cool about you writing this journal and paying attention to what's going on, because you do have to get the emotions out. Like, there is a feel to it. There's a feel to every loss. There's a feel to losing a job. There's a feel to losing a family member. There's a feel to losing a house. There's a feel to losing a car. The feel of loss is real, which brings me to the bonus number 8. You thought you were going to get away with 7 today, and I'm going to give you 8. 8, right? 8. Go to therapy if you need to. So my friend Bob Beverly says, if your head hurts, you see a doctor. If your car's broken, you go to a mechanic. If your roof is leaking, you get a roofer to come out. But if your heart is hurting, you got to go talk to somebody. So it may be some past issues that cause some some problems for you. I went through some trauma in my life, and every once in a while it messes with me, right? I went through some significant trauma. Don't need to disclose it here, but just know that, like, hey, it's one of the things that really messed me up. My own personal trauma caused me some issues. You know, it could be rejection. It could be regret. It could be fear of loss. It could be abandonment issues. Like, I could go down this list, and I want to let you know that, like, when I think about these types of videos where I have to give you the disclaimers, I'm not an attorney, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a lawyer, and I've got my notes right here with me as I'm having this conversation with you. I want you to know that, like, I don't just put these videos up to put a video up. I mean, I want you to have a general feel for, like, man, I have a resource. I have something that I can go to. I'm not stuck. Like, the worst feeling is being stuck and, like, saying, I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go. I don't know who to turn to. I don't have a formula. And so I feel stuck. So if this is you, recognize that you have worth. Recognize that you've got skills, talents, and capabilities. If you made it far enough to go on service calls, if you made it far enough to go on maintenance calls, if you made it far enough to go on sales calls, keep in the game. Keep in the game, because, like, you know, sometimes it's just a bad fit for where you're at. But you have to accept responsibility and find out where you could have done better. You can't just say it was that guy or that girl. You know, you can't just constantly blame somebody. You have to take the responsibility and say, what do I bear here? Where did I screw up? What could I have done better? Where did I fall short? When did I start falling short? Why did I start falling short? What could I have done differently? You know, and if it means that you got to go see a therapist, man, 1980, 1990, there was a stigma just like being fired. Like, I got to go see a therapist. And now it's like people will go online and tell you pretty much everything that's going right and wrong in their life. And they use social media as a therapy. I would probably not do it that direction. There is apps. There are apps that you could literally say, hey, I want to find a therapist, and you could find one outside of the country, and it may not be as expensive as inside of the country. So go online and say, you know, find a therapist, find somebody who's going to help me, and recognize that it may take you a couple of times to find the right person. And a good therapist is going to call you out on the things that you need to own. A good therapist is going to say, hey, where do you have ownership in this? And if you're just looking for somebody to listen, that's a direction that you could take it. I want to let you know that I appreciate you. If you're going through a struggle right now and you need help, reach out to somebody. Call a hotline, call a friend, call a family member, you know, do what you got to do, because there are feelings and emotions tied to your work. Just remember, time, energy, effort, risk, money, reputation, those six things are what lead to rejection or regret. Just, you know, you got this. You got one thing to do from here. Just one thing. Find the subscribe button or the follow button. Click on it. And every time I send out a video, you'll get an update. This is HVAC Technician Sales Secrets and another fantastic video. You should check it out, which you should. We'll see you soon.